Ladies and gentlemen, we are now beginning our final descent into Salt Lake City, where the local time is 10:18 a.m. and the temperature is already a toasty 95 degrees. We will be landing in about 10 minutes. Please make sure your seat bags and tray tables are in their full upright position. Make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened, and all carry-on luggage is stowed underneath the seat in front of you or in the overhead bins. The flight attendants are currently passing around the cabin to make a final compliance check and pick up any remaining cups and glasses. Thank you.
The grid. A perfect plan. Predictable and safe. The mountains hung in. The routes are clear. The roads are straight. The path is apparent. If you choose to get lost, let the grid guide you home to safety.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
Blows my mind that you don't know who Sir Ian McKellen is.
Old stuffy British actor. Got it.
He's a phenomenal British actor. He's Gandalf and Magneto and that guy from the Da Vinci Code, and he's not Dumbledore. Your lack of basic cultural knowledge makes my right brain sad.
Hey, I just drove an hour each way to make sure you didn't get stranded at the airport.
You're right. What I meant to say was, thank you.
You're welcome. It is one of the few perks of owning the company you work for. Plus, I knew Mom was going to have some awesome mom food here. I freaking love these tiny chicken sandwiches she makes. Oh, by the way, Brandy Lee is really sorry, again, that she had to cancel on you.
Heber, your wife is the kindest, hardest working person I've met. I'm sure she had the very best reason for abandoning me at the airport.
She did. Apparently, Tay tried to kill the baby.
What? Your daughter tried to kill your baby?
Yeah, the text message just reads, Taylor tried to kill Trayden. Like, seriously, he almost died. I'm freaking out. Can you please get Cassie from the airport? So I said, yeah, sure.
And you didn't follow up on that? That is horrifying.
Nah, that's mild.
Huh. How old is Taylor now? 4?
4. Was she 4?
Yeah, as soon as she was born, I moved down to Chicago for grad school. So, yeah, she has to have just turned 4.
4 it is. She's 4.
So glad you are keeping count. Anyway, thanks for picking me up.
Yeah, no problem. And Cass, I'm really glad you could be here too. I mean, this week's going to be hard on everybody, but I know it's going to be really hard on Mom. So it's going to be nice for her to have you here.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be great for me to be here too. This time of year is always really painful. It'll be good for us all to be together.
Yeah, well, you know, having you here makes the family feel complete again, or as complete as possible.
Aw, thanks. I do actually miss you guys.
Yeah, when we remember you're gone, we miss you too.
Thanks. You know, it's okay you forget about me. McKay has been texting me all week making plans for when I'm here, so I still have one sibling who cares.
I am glad you two stay so close.
Yeah, well, she is my only sister, and my only sibling who gives me the time of day, so...
Believe it or not, I do enjoy seeing you. It's just when you're here, I'm like at work or with the kids or at church, and you're off seeing some friend.
Yeah, well, this time will be pretty chill. I'll see Haley at some point. She is still my best friend, despite never seeing her, talking to her, and having practically nothing in common anymore. And I'm having lunch tomorrow with Uncle Daniel, but other than that, I don't really have much planned. Just hang out here, write a bit, be there for Mom on the day. celebrate the 24th with you guys, and then fly back.
Oh. Where are you going with Uncle Daniel?
The Boneyard. It's a gentleman's club up in Salt Lake.
What? Are you serious?
What? No. We'll probably go to Cafe Rio, just like every other Utahn.
Is that even a real place in Salt Lake?
No. Well, I don't think so. I'm gonna Google it.
You know, Uncle Daniel is my uncle, too.
Yes, I know. You are more than welcome to come with us.
That's okay, I'll be at work.
What happened to your flexible schedule? It's lunch. You have to eat. I mean, come on. When was the last time you saw him? Dad's funeral?
No, I saw him...
Uh-huh.
No, he was here when you went to Chicago.
And we just established that was 4 years ago.
You are better keeping in touch with people than I am.
Yes, that is true.
Because I have 2 kids.
Okay, you had 1 kid until 3 months ago, and I live halfway across the country.
And I'm a big jerk who hates everyone.
Also true. I should feel lucky this conversation is even happening.
Yeah, you should.
And I do.
Welcome home, Cassie.
Thanks. I may not be here for the happiest of reasons, but I am happy to be here.
Can I have one of those?
Here you go. So, you are probably always at church now, huh? How does it feel being second counselor in the bishopric? Does it feel powerful?
I am the first counselor.
Oh, so sorry for demoting you.
And mostly it's just tiring. Maybe I'd be able to enjoy it more if I were to sleep at home.
That's fair.
But it's good. Yeah, you really get to know the people in the ward really well and help strengthen their testimonies, bring them closer to God.
That's cool.
Yeah. And it's helped strengthen my own testimony of the truthfulness of the church and how it works for people and to bring them happiness and closer to the Lord.
That's great. Really great. And deep. Very deep.
Yes, Cassie, I am becoming a deeper man. What about you? What is your calling in the ward?
When I go?
You don't go to church.
No, I go to church like 80% of the time. And I stay for all the meetings, like 60%.
So what's
of the
your
time.
excuse for not going to church?
I just told you I go to church. Definitely more than half the time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not realize that the newest commandment was, thou shalt keep the Sabbath day holy. Definitely more than like half of the time.
Don't judge me. It's different than going to church here where you can't walk out your front door without falling into a church building.
Okay.
I have to travel, okay? I have to take the train. I have to take the L, and then I have to switch trains, and I have to walk for 10 minutes, and then I go to the singles ward with a bunch of old, weird single people who are on a mad manhunt for their eternal companion.
So they're like you.
Yeah, and I'm awful. Would you want to travel an hour each way to spend 3 hours in a room full of me?
Oh, come on. It's not like going to a 3-hour sermon with 2 kids right in the middle of nap time is cake either, but I do it because it's a commandment, Cassie, and it makes me a better, deeper person.
Well, you clearly win the Better Mormon Award.
Clearly.
But to answer your question, when I do go, I am the sacrament greeter, and I am amazing at it.
Oh, the old greeter calling, huh? The one they give you when you don't go on a regular basis?
Seriously? You just can't drop it? Mom is home with McKay. I cannot believe she just graduated high school.
Yep, and now she's a coug.
Ugh, don't remind me.
Yep, and you will be the only one in our family who didn't graduate from BYU.
Don't worry. I got plenty of flack about it from Dad. Tuition is a large portion of my benefits as a BYU professor. Why am I working so hard there if you aren't going to use it?
Yeah.
I gotta say, Utah State has done me well. Go Aggies!
No, go coug. Oh yeah. Rise and shout, the Cougars are out, along the trail to fame and glory. On you go to vanquish the foe, for alma mater, sons and daughters. As we join in song, in praise of you, our faith is strong. We raise our colors high in the blue, and cheer up Cougars of BYU. Rah, 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 rah. Go Cougars!
Yes, very impressive. You made your point. I will never be a part of your Cougar Club.
Oh, honey, we don't mean to exclude you. It's just that once you start singing, you have to do the whole thing.
Yeah, or it's just not right. I've actually heard you need to see your bishop to repent for it.
How do you know you don't even go to church?
What? Cassie, you don't go to church?
No, I go to church. Why would you say that to her? I haven't even said hello yet. I just told him I don't make it to all the meetings all the time, but I do go to church.
You need to go to church.
Yes, I go to church.
Hello, Cass.
Welcome home.
Hi, McKay. Thanks, Mom. It is really great to be home.
Oh, I'm so glad you're home, and sorry I'm in such a rush, but I have to head to work soon, so I'm just gonna run upstairs real quick and change.
It's fine. I'm not company. I don't need to be entertained.
Good thing since I don't have any time to entertain you.
Good thing.
I'll be down in a bit.
Oh, McKay, don't let me forget. I have something for you.
Oh, okay, thanks.
You are home earlier than we thought. We were just hanging out, smelling your candle, eating your sandwiches, and talking about you.
Well, I have been talking about you pretty much all day, sweetheart.
Well, that seems highly unnecessary. Who wants to hear about me all day?
Well, I've been to a couple of different meetings today planning Stake Youth Conference, and everybody is so proud of you. Getting your master's degree and then a professorship at Chicago, it's a big deal. So I'm going to brag about you whether you want me to or not.
Well, brag away. I rarely see these people anymore and live in a different state.
Well, thanks for your permission, darling.
Work calls. I'm gonna have to take this.
Of course, honey. Did McKay tell you she has a new job?
She texted me. She's at Takano's down in Provo, right?
Yep.
Ugh, nice. That is such a huge step up. I wonder if she gets a family discount. Maybe I can actually afford to eat there now.
I think she does. You'll have to ask her.
Well, it looks like the Stake young women are keeping you plenty busy. When are they going to release you from that calling?
Oh, I've only been the Stake Young Women's president for, what, 3 years now? It'll be a while. I enjoy working with the youth, though. It's my little secret to staying young and hip.
Well, it's definitely working for you, so I say go with it. You're planning the Stake Youth Conference now?
It's in the final stages. It's the last couple days in July, right after you leave.
Yes, I recall this conversation. What's the theme again?
Take a stand, and STAND stands for stay, true, and never deviate.
Ah, yes, it's clever. Clever. Hey, Mom. Let me know if you need anything while I'm here. I'm here so we can all be together because I know this week will be tough for all of us.
Thanks, honey.
So, let me know what you need. If you want to talk or drive up to the canyon like we used to, or if you need me to cut out some adorable little crafts, maybe write some cute sayings on handouts. I used to be so good at that kind of crap.
No, whoa. Do you have a minute now?
I do.
I need these quotes cut out, and then we're going to glue them on these pieces of paper, and then these little bows. Little bow, like right up there.
I can do this.
There are 40 of them.
Oh, that's nothing. I'm on it. That's why I'm here. I am here to help.
Thanks. There's definitely a lot to do.
My favorite youth conference was when you were still the Ward Young Women President, and you set up the cultural hall with the iron rod going through it, and the Tree of Life on stage, and the great and spacious building in the corner, and you had us walk along holding to the rod while all the adults in the ward dressed up and acted like wicked people in little vignettes, tempting us with prizes and treats and candy.
I was particularly proud of that one. I'm glad you remember it.
I totally left the rod so Brother Worthington would give me a donut.
Oh, honey, you did not.
I did. It was a bear claw filled with custard, and it was totally worth it. And then was it Sister Madsen? She gave me a poster of the Mona Lisa. It is currently hanging on the wall of my apartment.
My own daughter left the rod?
But then I found out you guys were giving away free movie tickets to the people who made it to the Tree of Life, so I snuck onto the stage, into the tree group, and got the movie tickets anyway.
Cassie!
And Heber saw me sneak in, and he was so mad at me. He totally ripped into me for cheating and taking all of the prizes. Seriously, he was so mad.
Well, he should have been. You cheated, and then you lied about it.
At a made-up youth conference role play activity.
Well, I hope you at least learned the lesson we were trying to teach.
I did, if the lesson was to be sneakier and not get caught.
Get caught at what?
At letting go of the iron rod at that youth conference activity and getting both the heathen prizes and the tree of life prizes.
Yeah, you got your donuts, but you still got the movie tickets at the end? That was messed up.
If by messed up you mean smart, then sure.
It was smart to lie, cheat, and get everything that you wanted.
It was a role play activity. That wasn't real.
And it was 15 years ago.
That doesn't mean it wasn't messed up. I held onto the rod, and I didn't get any donuts, but of course you did everything you wanted and you got away with it because you always broke the rules and nobody cared.
Whoa, that is some serious pent-up aggression there.
No, no it's not. You know what? I don't care. I never cared. And if you want to lie and cheat and not go to church, then that's fine by me.
Oh my gosh, I go to church.
Just stop it. I am no longer a mother to teenagers.
Well, technically McKay is still...
No, stop. Heber, do you need to go into work?
No, it's Friday. It's almost the end of the day. I think they have it handled. Plus, Brandy Lee's going to stop by with the kids, so I'm going to wait till she gets here and I'll go then.
Oh, good. Oh, Cassie, the kids are getting so big. They are just beautiful.
I know. I love the pictures you guys send me.
I love those babies. Hey, feel free to finish those sandwiches.
Oh, I plan to.
Yeah, that's right. Eat your feelings. Everything will be fine. Hey! How is it that you look that beautiful getting ready to go serve people food at a restaurant?
Helps with tips.
Oh, congrats on the new job. That is so exciting.
Thanks. When I graduated from high school, I figured I should graduate from IHOP as well.
And congrats on graduating high school. I am so sorry that I couldn't make it to graduation. Summer classes had just started that same week, and I'm not in the financial position to turn down work.
It's fine. I know you had to teach.
I was there with my 2 screaming kids, so I hope that makes up for it.
Well, we didn't really have a graduation party for him, so,
Oh, McKay,
Yeah.
don't let me forget. I have something for you. I did not forget to give my favorite sister a gift. I didn't send in the mail because I thought that was impersonal. Also because I'm disorganized and a little bit lazy.
Thanks, Cass. You really didn't have to get me anything.
Yes, I did. And of course I wanted to. This is the one time in life that people are going to give you gifts and money for doing the things you were already planning on doing anyway. It's a big deal. Enjoy it. I know a Target gift card is so impersonal, but it's what you want and need, I promise. So I added some pictures for a personal touch.
Wow, real photo pictures on photo paper. Impressive. We just gave her money, so I guess you win the Better Sibling Award.
Of course I do. That was never even a question.
I haven't seen some of these in forever. Come look at these, Mom.
oh my gosh, that haircut. What was I thinking?
You were thinking that it was the year 2000, and you were glad to have survived the 90s, and grateful robots didn't take over the world on New Year's Eve.
Yes, that is it. Oh, Heber, look at you in this one, honey. Oh, and there's your father. He was so handsome.
He is so handsome.
Of course. Oh, these are lovely, honey. What a thoughtful gift. Was this after the funeral?
Yeah. I think it was.
Oh, Mom. This week sucks. It's just gonna suck.
We are here for you, Mom. I can't believe it's been 10 years.
I didn't think it would still be so painful. Seeing his face there with all of his passion and energy and his kindness, my heart still gives a jolt every time the phone rings. It's been a decade. Anytime one of you kids gets in a car, I can still hear the voice of that police officer on the phone. Then drive down to the station and have him to identify.
Mom, you don't have to relive all this. Nothing is different about this week than any other week since the accident.
Of course. You're right, honey. Of course.
But there's nothing wrong with being sad and allowing yourself to grieve again.
I know, sweetie.
Mom, we are here, and we aren't going anywhere. And Dad's here too. He's always aware of us and taking care of us, like he always was. We have an eternal family. We're sealed in God's temple for time and all eternity. Nothing can take that away from us. Nothing that we will experience on this earth or in this lifetime is stronger than our family.
You are so smart and so strong. Your faith is a blessing to me, honey. It really is.
Look at this. Dad would be so disgusted by this. All of us sitting around reliving the worst day in all of our lives.
Oh, what are you all sitting around crying for? God never said life would be easy.
He only said it would be worth it.
I can still hear him saying that.
Yeah, try having it yelled at you from the sidelines of church ball while a Goliath from Lehigh stuffs your layup for the 20th time in a row.
Oh, now your father meant well.
And he was always right. Annoyingly right. Even when he was wrong, he somehow found a way to make being wrong the right thing to do at the time.
Ah, he was such a good dad. I'm so glad you kids are here. His passion and his energy are just so evident in all of you.
Mom, I'm sorry if these pictures were too much right now. I can take them.
No, honey. They're lovely. I just haven't seen some of them in a long time.
Yeah, seriously, thanks, Cass. These will be great to have at school.
Oh, I believe that is Brandy Lee pulling up. Excuse me while I go to the bathroom. I won't have a chance. She wants the kids get in here.
That's a thing. That is terrifying.
Cassie, did you really tell Hebert you don't go to church? It's important to keep going to church when you're living in the big city.
What? No. Heber is just mad that I got donuts 15 years ago and he didn't. I do go to church.
Good. And you're saying your prayers and reading your scriptures?
Yes, Mom, as often as humanly possible. Thanks for checking up on me.
You need to do it every day.
Yes, I realize that is the ideal. I've heard that once or twice somewhere. I go to church, I pray, I read my scriptures. I'm not an apostate just because I live in Chicago and have a creative writing degree.
I know, honey. It's just so easy to let your values slide when you get busy and life changes.
Yeah, I'm realizing that. Thanks for the pep talk, but don't worry about me. I'm fine, really.
Cass, I'm so glad you're home, and I have to go to work now. And thanks again for the gift.
Hello, everyone. Oh, hi, Cass. Hello, hello. I am so sorry about the airport. My kids were literally trying to kill each other.
So I heard.
I told her out how evil they are.
They are babies. They can't be evil.
Oh, I wish that were true. I do. Hi, Mary Lee.
Hello, sweetheart. Where are Taylor and Trayden?
Oh, asleep in the car, and I'm not waking them. Oh, don't worry, though. They're fine. I'm parked right there in the shade with the AC cranked up and the windows cracked. I can see the kids. They're in my direct line of sight. They are alive, and they are fine. And I'm heading back out there right now, but I just want to drop in and say hi.
I can't stay either because I'm heading to work.
Oh, I'm probably parked and wait, but I'm moving the car right now.
Where are you headed?
Oh, nowhere. I'm just gonna go get a dirty Diet Coke at Swig, drive around, listen to the radio while the kids sleep. It's my me time.
Sounds fun.
It's not. It is essentially a prison on wheels in 100-degree weather.
Well, I don't need the car until tomorrow. Maybe I can come with you then.
Actually, we are coming up to go to that farewell mission at that ward on Sunday, so if we don't need the car tomorrow, we can just get it done.
Yeah, that should work.
And if it's here, I can use it to run errands and take it out to lunch tomorrow, right?
I don't know, big city girl. Do you still remember how to drive?
I think I'll manage, or I'll wreck your car. I guess we'll find out.
Cassie, of course you can borrow Heber's car. Why don't you just keep it while you're here and give him a chance to pull out the motorcycle?
Yes. Keep it as long as you want, as long as she's going to let me drive the motorcycle.
Deal.
You ride that motorcycle safely now, Hebert. Wear your helmet.
Yes, Mom.
And we have to go now before your neighbors call the cops on us for child neglect.
On us? I didn't decide to leave the kids in the car the past 2 minutes.
But you knew a whole minute ago, so now you are also neglectful.
Okay.
I've got to go too. Until I move down there, the drive is not short.
All right, bye, Cass.
Bye. I'm glad you're here.
Bye, Brandy Lee. So good to see you. Thanks for picking me up, Heber.
Yeah, anytime, cheater.
Well, goodbye. Kiss the babies for me.
Will do. Bye.
Bye. All right, as much as I don't want to, I really have to go.
Have fun. Let me know when you want to hang out and hike or whatever.
Yeah, I will. Unfortunately, I think it's scheduled a lot this week and I really need the money. And the summer online classes I'm taking are having finals soon, so I may not have as much time as I hoped, but I'll have some time for sure at some point.
Whenever works.
Great. I'll see you guys tomorrow or later, depending on how late you stay up.
Well, I will definitely be asleep. You drive safe now, honey.
Oh, I will, Mom.
Oh, McKay, I know you have to go. I wanted to ask you. I'm going out to lunch with Uncle Daniel tomorrow. Do you work tomorrow? If we come to Tucano's, could you maybe get us a discount?
Yeah. I'd start work at 1 tomorrow, so if you come in after that, I should be able to hook you up.
Awesome.
I haven't seen Uncle Daniel in a long time. It would be great to see him.
He didn't come to your graduation party?
Well,
Well,
we didn't have a big party. We just had a small family dinner.
Oh, well, he is family, though.
Well, of course. But what I mean is it was just us, Heber, Brandy Lee, and the kids. We have such a big extended family. It's just such an effort to get everybody together. We mailed him an announcement and a copy of her picture. We certainly thought about him. We just didn't have a big party.
You two should definitely come to Tucano's tomorrow, though.
Yeah, okay, sure. I'll see if he can do after 1 o'clock and if he can make the drive down to Provo.
Great.
Yeah.
Bye, love you, Cass.
Love you, Mom.
Bye-bye, sweetie.
Bye. That is so great that she has a better job. That will definitely be nice during college.
I am so proud of her. She is such a strong young woman.
She really is. Mostly because of you.
Now your father and I did our best with all of you.
Of course you did. McKay was just so young when the accident happened, and Heber and I were both out of the house when he died. I'm sure it's really hard to raise a kid alone, and you've been great at it.
Well, thanks, honey, but she wasn't a baby. She was, what, 8 years old when he died?
Yeah, Dad had just baptized her a few months earlier.
And she's pretty much raised herself since then.
Now that I believe, but she's got a great mom.
And she has such great church friends and leadership. I tell you, I could not be more grateful to our Ward family for taking care of us the way they have.
I mean, me too. I've never worried about you guys down here. I've missed you, of course, but I've never worried.
Good, because we've been fine.
I know. Me too.
Good. Thanks for your help here. I hope you're meeting some good people while you're living there in Chicago. Are you dating anyone?
Well, I'm not seeing anyone seriously, but, I've been out with a few guys off and on.
Oh, guys plural. Guys from church?
Well, no, there's no one at church, really.
Well, where did you meet these guys? These guys aren't LDS?
Well, no, but if you saw the guys in the Chicago singles ward, you would realize why.
Well, I know, honey, you're smart, you make good decisions. I'm just curious. Your life there in Chicago is so different.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I worry about you meeting the right people, a worthy man for you while you're living there.
Well, I'm not seeing anyone seriously, and I'm around good people. I meet good people. I'm a college professor. I'm not running with the wrong crowd.
I know, but...
But I am reading Harper Lee's new book.
Oh, you are? How is it? I heard she had a new book. I think it is amazing that she wrote another book after 50 years.
Well, she actually wrote it in the 1950s before To Kill a Mockingbird. Her agent submitted this one to the publisher. They didn't pick it up, but they totally loved her writing, and so they asked if she had anything else she'd like to submit. She gave them To Kill a Mockingbird. Just last year, her lawyer found this manuscript in her bank vault, and she agreed to submit it for publication again. Only a few copy edits were made to it.
Wow. You're pretty knowledgeable about it, too.
Well, all that information is in the back of the book. But I imagine I'll find time to finish it while I'm here, and then I can leave it for you to read.
Oh, that would be great. Thanks, honey. Well, I hope you have a good lunch tomorrow with your Uncle Daniel.
Yeah, I will.
I'm proud of you for taking the initiative to get together with him.
Well, I like to see him. We've just seen so much less of him since Dad died, you know? It's a weird relationship, your dead dad's gay brother, but we've always had a strong connection, and And really, since Grandma and Grandpa have passed too, he's the only part of Dad's family we have left, really.
Well, I'm grateful because I feel like I have been so bad at staying in touch with him. And he really is a sweet man. But you're right. Things are definitely different. There is no manual on how to maintain relationships with your deceased husband's family members.
That's a shame. You know, maybe I should write a book. It's a gap in the literature for sure. What are you doing tomorrow? You know, maybe you can come with us. We're just going to lunch. We don't have anything special planned.
Well, thanks, honey, but the presidency and I are getting together tomorrow afternoon for a Hobby Lobby trip.
To get the things you couldn't find at Michael's?
Exactly.
Well, what time are you going? I still have to ask him if he can do after 1 o'clock and if he can make the drive to Provo. I could ask him if later is better. I'm sure he'd really love to see you. I imagine this time of year and this week will be really hard for him too. I mean, Dad was his only sibling.
Yeah, of course, honey, but really, tomorrow is such a busy day. With this conference only 2 weeks away, there's so much to be done. But tell him I said hello, okay?
It sounds like this year's youth conference will be pretty amazing.
I hope so.
Well, with you in charge, I'm sure they'll remember it forever and keep souvenirs hung on their wall until they're 29. Well, that's 40. See? Proof I'm still a good Mormon woman. It doesn't matter how often you go to church or who you date, as long as you can craft with the best of them. Huh?
Oh, thanks for your help, honey.
Of course.
Well, since this went so fast, I have a couple errands I could run and people I could see. Do you want to come along?
I think I'll stay here. I would really like to relax for a bit. I had to get up at 4 this morning.
Okay, one of the things I need to do is stop at the grocery store and pick up a couple things for dinner. Is there anything you want?
No, I'll eat whatever we have here. And I know where the store is. Plus, I have Heber's car now, so I can paint the town red.
Okay, just text me if you think of something.
I will.
It is such a blessing to have you home right now.
Thanks, Mom. It's really great to be here. Hey, let me know if you need any help with your church stuff or just with whatever.
I definitely will, sweetie.
See you later, Mom. I love you.
Bye-bye, honey. Love you too.
And then he thinks he knows the hills where his life rose, and the sea where it goes.
Oh my heavens, the food here is so good, it's insane.
Thanks to McKay for getting a job at a Brazilian grill with an endless amount of amazing food.
Amen.
And thanks to you for making the timing work to drive from Salt Lake down to Provo.
And thanks to you for arranging this lovely lunch date.
Anytime, I'm glad we could make it happen.
Of course. It's always so nice to hear about Chicago and your new job and your writing.
And for making me feel bad, because I have been the only one talking and I haven't even asked you how things are going with whatever it is you do with computers and numbers and stuff.
Yeah, it's accounting and it's fine. It's not really worth asking about, don't worry.
But Elliot is worth asking about. How is he?
He's doing well. Thanks for asking.
He should have come today.
Oh, he's busy traveling for work. He's in some horribly humid southern state right now. There are only so many interesting happenings that you can photograph and write about in Utah.
Very true. I know I've said it before, but I feel so terribly that I couldn't be at your wedding.
Oh, that's sweet, honey. It means a lot. It really does. Very few people from our family were there.
I know, that's one of the reasons why I feel so badly about it.
Yes, but you live halfway across the country, and we realized there was very little warning for a wedding.
Yes, but the rest of our family doesn't live halfway across the country.
Yes, but the wedding was for us, and, well, I mean, it's not their fault that it was an intimate crowd and a small ceremony. I mean, we told people about it, but we didn't send out official invitations. So it's not their fault for not coming. It's what we wanted. It's what we knew it would be.
Well, from the pictures you sent and the card in the mail, it looks like it was lovely.
Oh, it was, thanks. We were astonished, really. We didn't expect to ever be married. And, I mean, we were always committed to one another, but we didn't think we actually needed to be married. We always wished that we could be, but... And then when this federal court ruling came down, well, we just made it happen as quickly as possible. The ceremony was for us, not anyone else.
It really was amazing, the court ruling. I'm just really happy that you're able to be happy.
No, we were happy before. It's just, it's more equal now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the Supreme Court ruling, I've never been more surprised and excited about our judicial system.
It's kind of unbelievable.
Did you two enjoy your meal?
Oh, I won't have to eat a thing for the rest of the week.
Yes, thank you so much for being our server, and thank you for letting us use your discount. Do you bring the check to us, or do we go up to the counter?
Don't worry about it. I took care of it already.
Oh, we can pay. I want to pay.
We can totally pay. Don't get in trouble for us.
I won't. I didn't steal for you. I just took care of it already. I wish I could have joined you and been able to talk, but at least I can contribute this way.
Oh, you didn't need to pay. You're a college student.
We have jobs. I have a job.
I know. I have a job too, and it's done.
Well, what can I do?
You can say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sweetie. We'll leave a good tip. It's always so good to see both of you. It's such a treat for me.
Yeah, me too. And thanks again for the card and the gift for graduation.
Of course.
We really didn't have a party, just a small dinner with a few of us.
I know, honey. I'm very proud of you.
Thanks. Well, I have to get to my other tables, but feel free to stay as long as you like. And if you run out of food, just have them bring out more. Can I refill your drinks?
Oh, no, I'm fine.
I'm fine, thank you.
All right, well, flag me down if you need anything.
Will do. Have fun.
Oh, I will. Work is so fun.
She is so intensely beautiful.
And so ridiculously smart and kind and just an overall an amazing person. Essentially, she is a mini version of my dad.
Yes, I can see that in her. She's going to be extremely successful at whatever she puts her mind to, that one.
She would make me sick with jealousy if she weren't my sister. Well, she still does make me sick with jealousy, but since I love her, it's not such an active or debilitating of a sickness.
I was always jealous of your father.
Oh, yeah?
Well, yes, it's what siblings do, especially when your sibling is as extraordinarily charming and perfect as he was. I mean, he was older than I was, and smarter, and more popular, and not surprisingly had much better luck with the ladies.
Well, that's hardly a fair comparison.
Well, yes, I can see that now, but I didn't know that then, and I mean, there were times that I really hated him. I mean, I really hated him. I wanted to be like him so badly, to be comfortable in my own skin and with who I was.
Really? I can hardly imagine that.
Yes, we all feel inadequate to some degree.
Yes. Yes, we do.
It's nice of you to keep me in touch and keep me updated on your life.
Thanks. I feel like I'm not very good at it.
Well, I always appreciate your emails and texts.
That is nice of you. Usually I just get lectured by people that I need to be on Facebook. I can't with the Facebook. It's so fake and creepy, really. Reading about people's daily life and private moments, seeing pictures of their meals, kids, workouts. I feel like I'm standing outside their house in the darkness, peering into an open window at their intimate moments. It's so unsettling. So I'm glad you appreciate my old school emails and texts.
I do.
Cassie? Cassie, I didn't even realize you were home.
Oh my gosh, Haley! What are you doing here?
Having lunch?
Of course you are. Of course you are. Gosh, Uncle Daniel, this is Haley, my dear friend from high school, and college and in junior high. She is literally the only other person I wanted to see while I was here, and weirdly enough, here she is.
Well, I would say that is odd, but really that's Happy Valley for you.
It's so happy.
Isn't it, though?
Haley, this is my Uncle Daniel. We're eating here mostly because McKay works here now.
She does? Oh, that's so great. Well, we just got here, but I'll make sure to say hi. Now, what are you doing in Utah?
You know, visiting my family and Pioneer Day.
Oh, right.
And, well, actually, it's also the anniversary of the accident. Since you were around when it happened, I don't feel too weird about
Oh my
telling you
gosh,
about-
Cassie. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Is everything okay?
Yeah, we're fine. I just didn't want to be home alone in Chicago, and my mom appreciates the company.
I'll bet she does. Cassie, just let me know if you need anything, okay? Or your mom, just send me a text anytime.
Okay, Haley, we're fine though. So are you here with Spencer and your kids? I'll bet they are so big right now.
No, they're at home. Actually, I'm here with my friend Anna. Oh, and you'd appreciate this. We are the chairs of our book club, and we're meeting today to set the next school year's reading calendar. Aren't you so proud of me?
Book club chair of like the library or something?
It's our Relief Society's book club.
Oh, I didn't realize that was a thing.
Well, it's such a great way to keep reading and also get to know the women in the Word a little bit better.
Well, now that I am aware that the Relief Society book club is a thing, I am so proud of you for being chair.
Well, thank you. You've always been my reading inspiration.
Of course I have. Ugh, gosh, it is so great to see you. You look really wonderful, as always. You are my looking good inspiration. I would still be slicking my hair back into a ponytail with claw bangs if it weren't for you.
Okay, I'll accept the credit for that. Your hair looks amazing.
Oh, it's at least passable now.
You know, you should really meet Anna. You'd like her so much. I mean, I'm sure you'll meet her on Sunday, but let me just grab her quick to say hello.
Okay, sure. I'm so sorry. I did not expect to interrupt our meal like that.
Oh, it's fine. She's darling.
Oh, isn't she? We have been best friends since junior high when we both moved into the same neighborhood together. We even went to Utah State together and were roommates, but only for a year. Then she got engaged and moved back down here.
No, I don't believe it.
Yes, and she has 3 kids now. The oldest one is 10, I think. It's so insane to think that it's even a possibility to have 3 kids before turning 30.
Well, that's not a possibility for you now, so that should make you feel better.
It does. Thanks.
Cassie, Anna Jolly, Anna, Cassie Warren.
Hi, it's so nice to
Hi. I've heard so much about you.
Well, I'm not that bad, I promise.
No, all good things. From your mom, mostly. She talks about you all the time.
Yes, she mentioned that.
Your mom hasn't changed a bit, Cass. You live back east in...
Well, Chicago, so the Midwest.
Right. It's so nice to meet you.
And this is my Uncle Daniel.
Hi.
Hello.
Sorry to intrude on your meal.
Not at all.
We were just finished eating, chatting now.
The food here is so amazing. It's our treat to ourselves for a great year of book club.
Yeah, and my dad would even make it through the year.
Oh, me too.
Well, hopefully it's fun too. Book clubs are supposed to be fun.
Oh, totally. It's just a lot of work for the chairs.
I can imagine it would be.
That's why we took a little bit of a break over the summer. We're meeting today to set the next round of books for once the school year starts up again. Yeah, we have such a wide variety of ladies in the club and the Relief Society. It may sound silly, but I feel so much pressure over it.
No, I feel it too. I do. I mean, there's some high expectations from some of the women for sure. Hey, I know. Cassie, would you be willing to give us some help and advice in our selections? You are so good at that kind of stuff. Cassie is a creative writing professor and is an English professor as well.
Yes, I know.
Of course you know.
It would be so great if you gave us some help in our selections.
Well,
That would be so great.
Right? We can come up with a broad list and some ideas today, and then we can meet next week and you can bring some of your thoughts too and help us make the best choices.
yeah, I guess I could. Why not?
When do you leave?
Well, I'm here for a week and a half until right after the 24th.
Right. Pioneer Day, of course.
Of course.
Okay, that would be awesome. I will text you. We'll find a time to meet maybe in the evening next week.
Yeah, okay, I can make that work.
You were the best. Thank you so much.
So I'll see you both soon then, yeah?
Yeah, and I'm in your mom and Haley's ward, so I'll see you at church tomorrow, right?
Right, yes, you should.
Awesome. I'm teaching Gospel Doctrine, Book of Mormon, Alma chapter 40, lesson 30, so pre-read tonight.
Great, I'll be there.
I'm so glad I ran into you.
Oh, you too. Bye.
Well, they seem very nice.
Well, Haley is one of my favorite people in the world, and Anna seems nice too. Though I'm not going to pre-read for Sunday school.
Charlie, I'm the last person in the world that would judge you for not reading for Sunday school.
Fair enough.
And it's very nice of you to help them with their book club. They're very dedicated to it.
Yes, almost oddly so. Maybe that's a Mormon mom thing?
Oh, if you ever become a Mormon mom, let me know.
Will do. Though I never see myself ever caring that fiercely about a book club.
No, I don't see that in you either.
But I wanted to go well for Haley, and I wanted to see her anyway, and do anything she asks or tells me to do, and I like to talk and be bossy about books, so really it's a win all around.
Good.
Thanks again for coming down here today.
Of course.
I wish I saw you more. I wish I saw all of our family more.
Darling, you live halfway across the country. You're living your life and you're doing a great job.
I wish my family saw you and kept in contact with you more. I was just talking with Mom last night about how you are the only part of Dad's family we have left, really. I just don't know how to handle it. To be around you after Dad's death, and maybe it's just too painful. I really wish they would. Heber's kids should grow up knowing you, you know?
Mary Lee's the salt of the earth. And she's the sweetest person. And she's doing the very best that she can. She's been ripped apart. I mean, she sends me cards in the mail for holidays and special events. And that's a huge feat. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
But you lost your dad, too.
Yeah, I did.
It's okay to be sad about it.
I said that exact thing to my mom last night. It was the worst, most horrific, painful thing that's ever happened to me. When I was 19, I loved and respected him more than anyone I had ever known or have ever known since. He made me. He turned me into the person that I am, and then he was gone. It's indescribable. It's painful.
Yes, it is. He was a wonderful person.
He really was. I miss him. Mostly, I just miss him.
I know, sweetheart. I miss him too.
You know, you knew him longer than any of us.
Yes, but sweetie, it's different losing a father than it is losing a brother. I mean, they're both painful, certainly.
You know, to be honest, I am not really sure if I'm doing well or not, since I am not sure how I'm supposed to be feeling. I'm here, and that helps a lot. Being with Mom and McKay helps a lot. And you and Heber. I hear his voice.
His voice? Heber's voice?
No, sorry. I hear my dad's voice in my head when I read and write. My head reads and writes in my dad's voice.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, just when I read and write. It's been that way since he died. I read my master's thesis as I wrote it, and it sounded so much better in my head than when I read it out loud. And sometimes it's frustrating and hard to hear. But I get to think on my own at least.
Is this a good thing?
No. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not sure why it's happening.
I'm not sure why either. But your dad would know. He was a brilliant psychologist or psychiatrist. I always forget which one.
Psychologist. Yeah, he probably would know. Maybe I'll ask him.
Let me know what he says.
Will do.
You know, let me know if you need anything at all, just in life.
Thanks. I will. You too.
I will. And you can let me leave your sister a tip. No arguing with that.
Oh, well, let me do something.
You can make sure that I get to see you the next time you come.
These are just getting harder as we go.
And you can help an old man out to his car. No, I'm serious. My stomach is so incredibly full from all that meat and pineapples.
Oh, well, I am just as full as you are, so I don't know how much help I'll be.
Well, you can help me with my book club that I'm planning.
Oh?
It's a gay men's theater scene book club. We only read the scripts from Oscar Wilde and Tennessee Williams while we listen to the music of Cole Porter.
Well, I may know more about that than what the Relief Society book club moms want to read.
We pray these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you all for being here on this beautiful and hot Sabbath day. Do we have any visitors that we need to welcome in the class today?
I have 3 visitors. All my kids are here. Heber and Brandy Lee are visiting from Orem for the missionary farewell, and Cassie is here from Chicago.
Yes, welcome to all the Warren family. It's so good to have you all here with us today.
We are barely visitors, but thanks.
It is nice to be back in the home ward, though.
I bet. Okay, great. Well, today we are learning from Lesson 30, entitled The Great Plan of Happiness, today in Book of Mormon Gospel Doctrine Manual. It is such a wonderful lesson. I do hope you got my email able to pre-read for both lesson and Alma chapter 40 today. It has such fantastic and important lessons in the material. Now, whether you had the opportunity to pre-read or not, please go ahead and open your manuals to lesson 30, which begins on page 133, and your Book of Mormon to Alma chapter 40.
Full disclosure, I did not read this, nor did I bring my manual. That's okay, I didn't either. No, I am just a visitor. You are an unprepared sinner who is going to hell. Well, look at the board, Cassie. Hell isn't part of the plan of salvation. Then you're a sinner going to the celestial kingdom. Touche.
Thank you, everyone. Now, I have a diagram drawn on the board, which you can see as well in your manual if you have one. What is this a diagram of? Don't all answer at once. Yes, Sister Warren.
It is the plan of salvation.
Thank you. Yes, it is the plan of salvation, or the great plan of happiness, as lesson title refers to it. Who has seen this diagram or one like it before? Sure, you've probably all seen this diagram or one like it before, probably many times before. If you're a member of the church, this is something you're very familiar with. You may even wonder, why are we learning about this in gospel doctrine? Shouldn't this be a gospel essentials lesson? So why are we learning about the plan of salvation if we all already know what it is? Is anyone willing to read the quote by Neil A. Maxwell, which is on the top of page 133, beginning with, "The Lord has described." Thank you, Brother Warren.
No problem. The Lord has described his plan of redemption as the plan of happiness. Conversationally, we reference this great design almost too casually at times. We even sketch its rude outlines on chalkboards and paper as if it were the floor plan for an addition to one's house. However, when we really take the time to ponder the plan, it is breathtaking and overpowering.
Thank you. What a powerful thought and statement. The plan of happiness, God's plan for us, is so simple we can basically sketch it on the board in a minute or so. We can basically explain it in a breath or two. Yet it is so amazing, so incredible, so wonderful. How often do we, or do I, do you, take this for granted because of its simplicity and its familiarity? Yes.
I was thinking about the great plan the other day.
Now, yes.
Well, I didn't read for this lesson necessarily, but I was thinking about this a few days ago when I was in the temple. In the past, Heber and I, we've tried going to temple once a month, which turns out to be difficult with a newborn and a 4-year-old. And before last week, we hadn't been since before Trayden was born. But thanks to a wonderful grandma who lives so close to temple, last week we got to go. Anyway, we were in session and I realized that even in just those short few months, I had forgotten the peace I feel when I'm in the temple. When I take the time to sit and be quiet, to think about what we're doing in this life, why we're here, where we came from, and where we're going. And it was just so comforting and calming. Life with a baby and a 4-year-old is hard and it's overwhelming and it's chaotic and it's messy, but life is hard, overwhelming, chaotic, and messy. And when you take the time out to think about the big picture and go to temple if we can, it's all so much more doable, more bearable. We remember that God's plan is for us to be happy. That's why we're here. He wants us to be happy, not overwhelmed, not depressed, not angry. He wants us to be happy. And that is why we're here. I don't know. Sometimes it's really hard to remember that in the thick of life.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, exactly. Anyone else?
Well, I am glad that Brandy Lee got that out of our temple session because I fell asleep. No, I often think about this in a different light as well. God's plan for us is simple. Yes, but the world will often take it and make it too simple. You know what I mean? The Lord has given us commandments that we need to follow, covenants that we need to make and keep in order to return to live with Him. But there are people in the world who would like to think, and who would like us to think, that it's so easy to return to God that we don't actually have to follow those commandments or covenants and we can still have the same happiness. A good concrete example is tithing. We have to give our tithing, give our 10% back to God. And it doesn't matter what comes up in our lives or how little we make. If we don't live by that principle, we won't be worthy to return to God's presence. We're not going to make it to the celestial kingdom, period.
Yes, it's simple, but not necessarily easy. Not just anyone can get to the celestial kingdom without work. We have to work. We have to keep God's commandments. We have to make and keep our sacred covenants. We have to repent and be baptized into the church. We have to be married in the temple, and we have to endure to the end. We don't get to just live our lives the way we want to and then repent on our deathbeds like some religions may get to. Absolutely.
And I think the world would really like us to forget that sometimes. There are people, like Heber said, who would want to make it so easy that anyone can do it. You mentioned temple marriage, and I, for one, think it's really scary what happened in our country just last month. The proclamation to the family is very clear that marriage is between one man and one woman. And we just had 5 people decide for our country that marriage can be between any 2 adults, which isn't God's plan. It's not the plan of happiness, and it's not going to be. No matter how the world changes its views of marriage, marriage will always be between one man and one woman in God's plan.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not disagreeing, of course, though I think we need to remember that agency is also a part of God's plan of happiness. A really important part. That Satan was the one who suggested we shouldn't be free to make our own choices, and we find that happiness, that peace, through making our own choices, and even from making mistakes and learning from them. And I have found in my life that God's plan for us is not a one-size-fits-all cookie-cutter stamp. God knows each of us individually, and He made each one of us unique. What works for one person to bring them happiness may not work for or be the same for another. That's why we have personal prayer and personal revelation.
Yes, I agree. I do think we need to be careful though, because yes, it's true, there are things that are part of God's plan and things that are not. We have to do or not do certain things to get into the celestial kingdom, and those things are not suggestions. There are commands and covenants that are black and white, and either you do them or you don't. Either you drink coffee or you don't. Either drink alcohol or you don't. Either you get sealed in the temple or you don't. And we can run into trouble when we start to blur those lines and look at certain things as gray.
It just, for me, the way that I see things from my perspective, it's our judgment as humans as to how other people live and fulfill God's plan for them. And I'm as guilty as anyone, of course. I have found in my time, particularly living in an environment where I'm not surrounded by a lot of other Mormons, that I don't get to decide what makes other people happy or not, or whether or not they're fulfilling God's plan for them or not. That's between them and God. It's funny because when I first moved to Chicago, I was really overwhelmed because I encountered people who said things and did things that were against the standards and values that I had been taught. And I thought to myself, wow, these people must be really unhappy because they drink or smoke or are in a homosexual relationship. But eventually, as I got to know them, I discovered they aren't unhappy people. They are wonderful, happy people who have taught me a lot in life, actually, about how to be more joyful. And I don't have to drink or smoke or be in a homosexual relationship, of course, to be happy, but I don't think we should immediately say they aren't going to be able to fulfill God's plan for them or not, just because their life is different than mine.
Of course, we don't want to judge people, and it's okay to be friends with people who aren't LDS and who have different standards, but we need to make sure we're living in the world and not of the world. We have to remember that we have the full truth and knowledge of the gospel and the plan of salvation, and the rest of the world does not. So we are held to a higher standard. Temporary mortal happiness on this earth is different than eternal happiness, because the plan of salvation is about eternal happiness and salvation too, not just the pleasures of this world. So if people drink or smoke or have sex outside of marriage, they won't be exalted in God's presence. They won't be able to return to Him without going through a conversion or repentance process, of course. And that is why our missionary work is so important, and the atonement is so important.
I also think it's important to realize and be aware that the world is slowly lowering its standards as what it considers to be moral, and God's not. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. His standards for us haven't changed. So when the world decides it's okay for a woman to wear what she wants and show off her body as she chooses, God still has his standards of modesty as designated by temple garments, and they haven't changed. Or when the world decides it's okay for someone to smoke marijuana if they're sick or in pain or just enjoying themselves at home. God still has the word of wisdom, which is scripture, and it hasn't changed. Or when the world decides it's okay for two people to be married as long as they're in love, God still has the proclamation to the family, which is scripture, and it hasn't changed.
Yes, God's standards for us have not changed. This is a really great discussion. Really great, and it leads right into the teachings of Alma. So if everyone would open up their scriptures to Alma chapter 40 and find verses 1 through 23. Yes, Cassie?
Well, everyone is finding that. I have a question. We have been referring to the world a lot. And I wonder, who is the world? What is that? What does it mean? And maybe because I work with words and literary concepts, but I feel like we are using an abstract, undefined concept to generalize and lump together a whole group of people who aren't part of the church, and I really think we need to be careful of that. When we're talking about the world, are we talking about the media? Are we talking about pop culture and social media campaigns? Do we really mean specific lobbying groups? It's definitely a difficult question to ask, but I think it's an important one to ask, especially for people like me who don't live in Utah surrounded by other Mormons. I navigate and interact with crowds that I think a lot of people in this room would consider the world. But when you get out there, you start to realize that the world consists of your friends, your neighbors, your colleagues, and then it starts to become very gray, and it starts to become even more important to define who it is we're talking about when we're saying these people are out to get us or are working against God's will. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense, and it's definitely an interesting and an important point. I experienced this on my mission. I met so many wonderful people who are living in the world and didn't know about this great plan of happiness that God has for them. I think it goes back to what Brother Warren was saying. It's definitely okay to make friends and interact with non-members, and we can definitely learn a lot from them by living in the world and not of the world. It gives us great missionary experiences and ways to build the kingdom. We can give them an example of what it's like to have the fullness of the gospel in their lives.
I love the I Am a Mormon commercials. We have such unique members in our church, keeping the gospel standards while living in the world. I think it's a great missionary tool.
Yeah, I absolutely understand that, but again, and I think my point is that when we're talking about this, it is really important to define who and or what the world is.
Very interesting question, Professor. No, I'm sorry. I think you're on the right track when you mention pop culture and social media, but it's definitely more than that. McKay just mentioned our government. The Supreme Court just decided that gay marriage is legal in all 50 states. What are they going to decide next? Are they going to force us to marry gay people in our temples? They're already saying it's illegal to say it's against your religion to bake a cake for a gay wedding. You know, there are little kids who are forced in schools to learn about families with two daddies or two mommies. There are high school students who are forced in schools to learn about sex and contraception. Is abstinence not an option for them? So yeah, when we talk about the world, it's the government too. It's a lot of forces all around us.
Yeah, I just graduated from high school, and no, we don't have to learn about those things in Utah. They leave it up to our parents and our churches to teach us morals. Thank heavens, but I still heard the worst language and awful conversations in the hallways of Lone Peak that I did not want to hear, but was forced to listen to because of their freedom of speech. So it's the students in schools too. When I have kids, I'm terrified to send them out into the world. I have non-Mormon friends too. We absolutely want to befriend them and understand their point of view, but we do have to be careful, Cassie. We have to be strong in the church and in the gospel to be examples to them, like Anna said.
Yeah, I get that. I do.
Does that make sense, Sister Warren?
Yeah, I'm not really confused about it.
I think that going to the scriptures with our questions is a great idea. God always has the best and clearest answers for us.
Sure.
So if everyone would open up their scriptures and find chapter 40, and we'll start with verse 1, and we'll go through, let's see, since we're running short on time now, Let's just read through verse 12. Will someone begin for us? Thank you, Sister Simons. Now, my son, here is somewhat more I would say unto thee. For I perceive that thy mind is worried concerning the resurrection of the dead. Behold, I say unto you that there is no resurrection, or I would say, in other words, that this mortal does not put on immortality. This corruption does not put on incorruption.
Cassie, honey, is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I had to use the bathroom and catch some air. I'll be in just a second.
Okay, sweetheart.
I thought I was a Christian, but I'm not. I'm something else, but I don't know what. Everything I have taken for right or wrong, these people have taught me. These very people. So it's me, it's not them. Something has happened to me.
Thanks for helping us finalize our choices, Cass, 'cause this is a great list.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks, it was fun. Talking about books is kind of my thing. I'm lucky McKay let me borrow her laptop because I left mine in Chicago in a carefree, I'm going off the grid kind of moment. I don't know what I was thinking. It's like I've been missing my right hand. It's almost physically painful.
I'd be like that without my phone.
Oh, me too.
Me too. And thank you guys so much for letting me crash your party tonight.
You didn't crash it.
And I don't think you can call this a party, really. But it was a convenient time for your air conditioner to give out and have to move in here temporarily.
And so nice of Heber to stay upstairs with the kids so you could join in on our discussion.
It wasn't nice of him. He's their dad.
Well, it was so great to have your perspective as a former elementary school teacher. A lot of our club members have kids in elementary school, and discussing and learning more about teaching and education is a great thing, I think, for all of us.
Yes, Brandy Lee, your expertise was invaluable.
Well, that might be overstating it, but I am glad we ended up with Catching Fireflies on the list. You guys are really going to love it. It definitely had an influence on me when I was a teacher.
Do you miss teaching?
I do, in certain ways, and I don't in others. I mean, I only taught for 2 years before I had Tately, so I don't really think I ever got out of that new teacher phase. But I hear it gets easier the longer you teach.
I'm hoping that's true for college teaching as well.
Do you think you'll ever go back to teaching?
Maybe. Probably. When my kids are in school. If I could work at the same school as them, it would be great. I would be able to work in the same building, have the same schedule.
That would be great, right?
I do hope your group actually finishes and likes Man's Search for Meaning. The first part is pretty intense and graphic, but I promise if you can make it through, it really is such an important read.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, the guy on Goodreads says, after the Book of Mormon, this would be my second recommendation to anyone looking for purpose in life.
Well, that's quite the recommendation.
I'm sure they'll love it. It's relatively short and cheap to buy on the Kindle, so at least some of them will finish it.
Well, there you go. A whole list of reasons to read it. It's short, cheap, and easily accessible.
And I, for one, am excited to read Ghost and Watchmen. To Kill a Mockingbird has always been my favorite book since I read it in high school.
Yes, even though I'm not in your ward, I'm definitely going to read that.
Well, like I said, I haven't finished reading it yet, but I just feel really connected to it. It's really relatable and applicable, I think. I hope you guys enjoy it.
I'm sure we will, Cass.
Yeah, well, it's no Charlie, but it'll do, right?
You will never let that die, will you?
No, I will not. I will never forgive you for making me read that book.
I didn't make you. I suggested it when we were teenagers. I'm pretty sure I was 14. And no one forced you to read anything. I thought it was a nice story. I still think it's a nice story. It's lovely and sad.
Sad. It is definitely sad.
Shut it.
This is why I had to have a literary intervention with Haley.
Hey, I like Charlie too. It's okay, Haley.
No, it's not. I didn't read the book, but I liked the movie.
That is worse. Worse.
Well, sorry, Cassie. We can't all be creative writing professors with a master's from Northwestern.
That is true, but it is why you should listen to what the experts are telling you.
Well, you helped us come up with a great reading list with no Jack Whalen books on it at all, so that should make you happy.
It does.
Yes, thank you again.
No problem. It was fun. Thanks for asking.
I'm so impressed you already have your master's degree. I'd love to go back to school and get my terminal degree.
Oh yeah? Where did you go to school?
BYU.
Surprise. What did you major in?
I have a degree in political science.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah, I'm really interested in law and politics. That's actually where I met my husband. He was studying law at BYU.
Cool. You should definitely go back and get your law degree.
At least you have your bachelor's. I feel like I'd basically have to start over at this point. I should have finished when I was up in Logan with you, Cass.
You did what was right for you, right? And you have 3 beautiful kids to show for it.
Yeah, you really do. Oh, I wanted to tell you, thank you so much for your comments in Sunday school on Sunday. I really love it when the class is really engaged with the material and asking questions.
Thanks. I'm not sure it came off the way it was supposed to, but...
It's such a shame that you had to leave, though, because there was some really great stuff in the material that I think would have really helped answer your questions about the plan of salvation.
It wasn't really that I was confused about the plan of salvation. I was just thinking of it in a different way than I think a lot of other people were.
Absolutely, and that's so great. I really do hope you get the opportunity to read Alma 40, though, because it is such a testimony builder.
Yeah, I've read Alma 40 before.
Anna, your lesson was really great.
Yes, it really was a wonderful lesson.
Yeah, it was. I'm sorry I had to leave. I had to take care of some stuff.
I had to leave towards the end there, too. I had to go to the nursery because Trevin was throwing a fit.
That I totally understand. I do hope that you got some stuff out of the material, though, because I know there's some really great stuff that would really help you. You know, in reference to all your non-Mormon friends in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, I wasn't confused about the plan of salvation. That wasn't really what I was trying to say about it.
You know, I bet you're such a wonderful example to them.
Yeah, well, it goes both ways.
What a wonderful missionary opportunity to live in a city like that with so many non-Mormons. Almost everyone I know is Mormon. Except I don't think my dental hygienist is. Or if she is, she has like a lip ring and purple hair, so she probably isn't active. I've been thinking about leaving a Book of Mormon for the next time we go. Oh, and Olivia's dance teacher is gay and living with his partner, so he's probably not Mormon.
Well, then there's probably not much you can do for him.
That's not necessarily true. A note, a Book of Mormon, or just a quick conversation bearing your testimony of the truthfulness of the gospel is always worth the time.
Now, he probably doesn't really want to hear it. I mean, he probably doesn't really need to hear about it from people at work. Chances are he lives and works in Utah Valley. He knows about Mormonism. He knows the church doesn't approve.
Yeah, he surely does.
But he may not know that there's always a place for him in the church if he chooses to come back.
Is there?
What?
No, nothing. It's just... I mean, you guys may not know this, but my uncle is also gay. And he knows how we feel, how the church feels, and for him it doesn't change anything. I mean, it can't change who he is. I think that if it could have, it would have. A long time ago.
Cassie, your Uncle Daniel is the sweetest man in the world. Seriously, he's so kind. He gave us the most beautiful blankets when Haley and Traden were born. And his partner,
Elliot?
Yes, Elliot. Oh, so wonderful as well. He would bring them back from places he would visit work, so one was from Germany and the other one was from somewhere back east, Amish country, I think. Anyway, it was so sweet of them.
Yeah, they are really, really great people.
Sure they are. I mean, Olivia's dance teacher is the nicest guy, too. I feel so sorry for him sometimes.
Why do you feel sorry for him?
Ooh, sorry to interrupt. That is my timer. I have a feeding in 5 minutes, so I better head upstairs or else Traden will freak out. He is literally a ticking time bomb. And then not to mention, Heber will try to bring him down here, and that will be a mess. And then I will start to lactate all over the place. So,
I do not miss that.
yeah, you know, it's awful, but wonderful at the same time.
Or just awful. Nothing about that sounds wonderful. I cannot imagine being physically responsible for keeping another human being fed and alive.
You will one day, and you'll be great at it.
Or I will hire a nanny, and they will be great at it. Or I will live alone forever and die in a sea of cats.
Or that.
I should go too, actually. I haven't been out this late on a weeknight in a long time. I teach Zumba in the mornings, and I haven't even begun to look at my playlist. So I better do that before I completely humiliate myself in
front of my class. Oh, well, do you need me to get going too, Cass, so you can get to bed?
Bed? It's not even 10:30. I'm single and live in the third largest city in the country. I'm not even thinking about going to bed for another 3 hours.
Okay, well, I won't last 3 hours, but I may last 30 minutes or so.
All right. Awesome. We relive the old days. We gossip about boys, take quizzes in 17 magazine.
Well, I'm headed upstairs. Good night, everyone.
Oh, bye, Brandy Lee.
Bye.
Bye, so nice to really meet you. Will you be around on Sunday? Will we see you again at church?
Well, I actually fly out on Sunday, so probably not. So nice to meet you, though. And I visit often, so I will definitely get another lesson in at some point.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for all your advice and expertise, and I hope you have a relaxing night and rest of your vacation.
I will. Thanks.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Man, I am so impressed with what great moms you guys are.
Well, thanks. It's not particularly glamorous, but has its moments that aren't completely terrible.
That's good to know, because from the outside, it only seems completely terrible. All the time.
It's so good to have you back for a bit. You live too far away.
No, I don't. You just need to find a reason to move to Chicago.
I may be able to find a reason to visit.
That would be awesome. You have to do that.
Absolutely, I do. Does your family get to visit you often?
Well, my mom and McKay have been a time or two, but for Heber and Brandy Lee, it's just too much for the kiddos.
I'll bet. Oh, I got to talk to McKay for a little bit at Tucano's when we were there the other night. I mean, I get to see her a bit at church, of course, but gosh, it's crazy how grown up she is.
Seriously, I love that girl. She is moving down to Provo in a few weeks, and she's almost through her associates through the AP and with concurrent classes she's taken during high school. It's so crazy. It makes me feel very old.
Did you get to read the article that she wrote, or like, did you help her with it at all? Because it's really great. She's a great writer.
No, she wrote an article for like the Ward newsletter or something?
No, she wrote an article on a blog. Pretty big deal blog, actually, like a Mormon blog. It was all over Facebook a few weeks ago.
I didn't know about that. That's so cool.
Well, you need to check Facebook every once in a while.
No, I don't. If something is really important, someone like you will tell me about it, and then I'll go check it out. Like this. I have her laptop right here. I'm surprised she didn't send it to me in a link in like an email or a text or something. What's the name of the blog called?
I don't remember the name of the blog, but the article was something like Surviving the Attack on the Family.
It was called what?
Well, something like that, like Surviving the Attack on the Family. Well, you're on her laptop. I bet if you Google that, it comes right up.
Yep. Here it is. Surviving the Attack on the Family by McKay Warren. The Mannerly Mormon Mom blog, huh? Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty popular blog, I guess. Had a lot of hits and comments when I looked at it.
I see that. Did you read it? I can read it later. I'm really surprised by this.
I know, right? I remember when she was in elementary school and wanting us to play Barbies with her.
And we would never play with her. We were jerks.
Yeah, we really were. Looks like Spencer's having a rough time at home with the kids. Looks like Olivia just threw up.
What is this? McKay wrote this?
I know, she's amazing, right?
Yeah, it's...
Now he's asking me where we keep her clothes. He knows where we keep her clothes. In her dresser. In her room. Yeah, I should probably get going. Sorry, I'd rather not come home to my daughter bring a garbage bag to bed.
You're going?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll call or text you, see if we can get together again a couple times before you leave.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. Hey, thanks for tipping me off about this article of McKay's. I had no idea she wrote something like this and shared it with the world.
Because you
need to get on Facebook and join the rest of the creepy, stalkery world. I know.
I'll text you. Bye, Cass.
Bye.
I'll let Spencer know you said hi, along with the many other things he needs to hear right now.
Good, good. Have fun with that.
I will. Bye.
Bye.
Marriage between a man and a woman is a sacred ritual ordained of God, a holy covenant immune from the influence of social trends and political whim. Elder Lance B. Wickman of the Quorum of the 70 plainly stated, "Marriage is neither a matter of politics, nor is it a matter of social policy. Marriage is defined by the Lord Himself. It is the one institution that is ceremoniously performed by priesthood authority in the temple and transcends this world. It is of such profound importance, such a doctrine of the gospel of Jesus Christ, of the very purpose of the creation of this earth."
What the hell is this?
Hey, Cass.
Hey, sis. How's it going?
I'm so exhausted. 2 different people just didn't show up for their shifts tonight, so it was crazy busy. And I still have so much classwork to do tonight. Being an adult is hard.
Yeah, it takes some getting used to, for sure.
Hey, how did the book club thing with Haley go? I saw her pulling out. She was texting and driving. She almost backed into me.
That's not good. I guess she's mad at Spencer for not knowing anything.
That sounds about right. He always was a little spacey.
They have some good books picked.
Good. Did the laptop help?
Yeah, it did. Thanks.
Good.
Hey, so, Haley told me about the article you wrote online a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was surprised I hadn't seen or heard about it.
Really? I thought everyone saw that. It was all over Facebook a few weeks ago.
Yeah, she said that. I never get on Facebook. Usually you guys email me or text me the important stuff.
Oh, well, it really wasn't that important, but yeah, a friend of mine at church knows the woman who writes the popular Mormon blog, and she knew I was passionate about the subject of protecting traditional marriage, and I gave a talk on it a while ago in church, so she asked me to write a guest post for her.
Oh, okay.
Did you read it?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. What did you think? I mean, I'm obviously not as professional at the writing thing as you are, but it's something.
Yeah, it's something. You know, the structure and writing, good, strong. I didn't get to deeply analyze it or anything. Okay, I'm not really sure how to react to it.
Why?
Well, it's a little harsh, don't you think?
Harsh? What do you mean, harsh?
It's mean towards gay people. It's mean to gay people.
It's mean to gay people? What do you mean it's mean to gay people? I'm not 7 years old. I don't have to be nice all the time while the values I believe in are being destroyed.
The values you believe in are being destroyed? Really?
Yes. I've gotten a lot of support from a lot of people on this article. Did you see all the comments and messages people have sent me? People believe in it.
Yeah, I'm sure some people do. Look, I know you are... The writing is good and strong. It's just the message, the title, Surviving America's Attack on the Family.
Yeah, what about it? Why is that harsh?
Surviving America's Attack on the Family. Who is attacking the family, McKay?
What?
I didn't realize that you felt so strongly that the family was under attack.
Okay, well, I'm not sure why you're acting this way. I didn't say or write anything that the prophets haven't already taught.
You have an uncle who is married to a man. 2 uncles, actually, who are married to each other. It's so surprising to me that this is how you would view their relationship. That just being who they are is an attack on the family. That you would buy into the idea that their union and happiness is a personal attack on you, something you have to survive. I know that you don't know Uncle Daniel that well because you were so young when Dad died.
This article isn't about Uncle Daniel. It's not about our family.
Okay, it absolutely is about Uncle Daniel. If it's not about our family, then whose family is it about? Dad would have never wanted us to think or act this way towards his brother and his husband.
Act like what?
I don't know. Barely talk to them or invite them to important events in our lives, or support important events in their lives, and then go on to write scathing articles about how their ability to be married to one another is a personal attack on the family. Clearly, our family isn't that strong to begin with.
How do you know what Dad would want?
I remember a lot more than you do, McKay. I was in college when he died. You were only a kid. I was able to talk with him in his perspective on a lot of things. The reason why I try to stay so closely in touch with our uncle is because Dad repeatedly stressed the need to love him unconditionally and to keep him in our lives so closely.
Yeah, because that's the best way to help him. Help him understand and change.
That's not the point. That's not what Dad was trying to do.
How do you know that? What makes you such an expert on Dad's goals and motives? You haven't been here, Cassie. You don't... Look, don't pretend you're such an expert on all things Dad and how he would have responded in this situation. Now that gay marriage is suddenly legal in Utah and all over the U.S. because 5 people decided it should be. Everywhere for everyone.
You do realize that it's not for everyone, right? Like, no one is forcing you to marry someone of the same gender, right?
Oh, really? I'm that stupid to you now because I don't agree with you? Because I hold the sanctity of a marriage between a man and a woman, sacred like the prophets have taught us. So you must think I understand how the laws work and what they mean.
You know, I'm honestly not really sure what I think right now.
Dad worked as hard as he could to help Uncle Daniel with his homosexuality.
What?
He wanted to help his brother, to help Uncle Daniel, more than anything.
What are you talking about?
Dad was a professor at BYU in psychology.
Yes, I know.
And when he first started teaching there, for years he worked on many projects and studies to help and heal people who struggle with same-sex attraction.
What do you mean?
Oh, look, I know something you don't. All through the 70s and 80s, Dad gave lectures cautioning and warning about the harms and pains of same-sex attraction. He wrote articles in papers, Cassie. He didn't share everywhere he went, but he worked closely with Maxford McBride on his research study.
Who is that? What research study?
Oh, well, it's a fairly well-known study that happened at BYU. It was controversial, but he experimented with behavior therapy as people with SSA looked at photographs of naked men and women to see if it lessened their attractions.
Behavior therapy? You mean shock therapy? That study? What? No, that isn't true. Dad wasn't a part of that.
Yes, it is. Yes, he was.
I read about that study. People committed suicide after being in it.
I haven't heard that. How do you know that?
How do you know all this about Dad? How do you know the things that he did? How do you know that he was a part of that study?
Because I've talked to our mother, Cassie. Because we have spent the last 10 years reading all of Dad's journals and organizing all of his things. Because I have been the only one of his kids here since he's died. I've been the only one around to help take care of his things, help clean up, and help Mom cope with his death. Cassie, Dad was a highly respected and well-renowned psychologist.
Okay, I know that, okay? But the Dad that I know, the man...
Look, he wasn't a monster. He was a scientist, a psychologist. He loved his brother and he wanted to help him. Dad was an expert in the human mind, how it works and sometimes doesn't work. He wanted to help because he knew it's what God wanted for him. God wants his children to be happy.
I can't believe Dad would be a part of something like that.
Oh, well, would you like me to go search through the boxes in the basement and pull out the files and reports documenting these things? Or would you just like to get off your high horse and believe that you might just be wrong?
How are you two doing down here? I know it's late, but I heard you were still up, and I thought maybe I could get some help gluing a couple of things.
Oh no, don't look at me. I gotta get back to the kids. I'm just here for a quick bite and water for Brandy Lee. You know I've been stuck upstairs for 3 hours.
You know, this should go really fast if we could make a little assembly line here.
Mom, I would like to help you. I really would. I'm sorry. Can you please tell me about Dad's research and lectures at BYU about homosexuality?
About what? What's going on here?
I was just telling her some of the things we've read and found out about Dad's work at BYU, since Cassie seems to think she knows more than the rest of us about how Dad thought and felt when he was alive. I just want to know if it's true that Dad spent the first part of his career, a good part of his career, researching and lecturing about how to fix gay people while his own brother...
Cassie, it is no secret, it shouldn't be a surprise either, that your father spent a great deal of work helping people understand and overcome some difficult problems and mental health issues.
Being gay is not a mental health issue. Wow, I can't believe what I'm hearing right now.
Why are we bringing this up right now?
Because Cassie saw the article I wrote and is pissed because she doesn't agree with it.
You wrote an article?
What? Yes, on a blog a few weeks ago. How did no one of my family know about this?
I don't know. The rest of the world did.
Well, I did.
You read it? And agreed with it?
Cassie, I do not see anything offensive about what McKay wrote.
You don't? You really don't. You honestly believe that calling our uncle's recent marriage an attack on the family is just fine?
Cassie, the way the world looks at homosexuality has changed a lot, very recently. That research that your father did, the study I think you're referring to, was back when experts were just trying to figure things out. And they did. Partially thanks to the work your father and his colleagues did, we learned a new way to approach things. How to help people. People who don't want to be having homosexual thoughts and feelings. People who just want to be like the rest of us.
You want to know how to approach things? How to help people? You can start with not making them feel like outcasts and perverts. Let them know that it's okay that they are not like everybody else. That we still love them. That we want them to come to our baby blessings and birthday parties and graduations. That we are willing to take the time from our lives to go support them after being a couple for almost 2 decades. Or even just to go to lunch. Ask how they're doing. That is how to approach things. I am completely embarrassed about how our family has treated our uncle, our father and husband's closest living relative. And I've been telling myself that the reason that we've acted this way, the reason that we have treated him this way is because Dad's not here. We couldn't handle Dad's death and absence in the context and in the presence of his brother. The one person who knew him for longer than we did. Probably even better than we did. Who loved him as much as we did. It was just too awkward and painful. But now I finally see the real reason why. We have abandoned and ignored our uncle. It was because Dad failed. Dad was only kind to him and included him and taught us to reach out to him, to change him, to fix him, to make him like us, to bring him back to the fold. And it didn't work. So if a BYU psychology professor can't solve the problem, then why bother? We can't save him from hell, so why be in contact at all, right?
Now, Cassie, that is not fair. What you don't
No, and now it's not enough to just ignore him, to pretend that he doesn't exist. Now that our state and country lawfully recognize his marriage to the man that he loves, now we have to actively fight against it, to declare publicly to our friends, church members, random strangers that we've never met on the internet, that we are shocked, appalled, outraged even that these abnormal sinners have the same rights to marriage as we do. That their happiness and rights are a direct threat to our happiness and rights. That we believe. Defending traditional marriage and in reversing the legalization of same-sex marriage is about maintaining a moral society that supports and encourages traditional marriage and families the way God intended. Okay, when I read that, it's not just harsh, it's hurtful. And it's not the way that I see the world. It's not the way that I was taught or raised to see the world. Not by my father, not by my mother, not by my church. I was taught that family, our family, is the most important thing in the world. And I still believe that.
It's not a fight, Cassie. It's an invitation. An invitation to know and understand God's plans and desires for us, from the scriptures and from the prophets, to discover true eternal happiness instead of temporary worldly happiness. And to be a part of a family, an eternal family, that is sealed in God's temple for time and all eternity.
Okay, I really believe that you see it that way. I really do. That's not what it is. It's a fight. It is against our loved ones, against who they are, who they love, how God made them. And this attitude, this mentality, this fight, it's harmful and it's hurtful, and it doesn't bring families together. It rips them apart. And I can't be a part of it. I won't.
Cassie, you know that is not what the church thinks. Now what we're trying to do
Then
here...
what does the church think? What are you trying to do?
Cassie, the mission of the church is to proclaim the gospel, perfect the saints, redeem the dead, with the one goal of bringing real, true, eternal happiness to people. All people. But there are a lot of people out in the world who are confused about what real happiness is and what it looks like.
Oh, yeah. I'm just confused because I live in the world, in a big city, and I work and interact and socialize with people who aren't Mormons, who drink and swear and have tattoos, and who are gay.
All we're saying is that it's important to stay close to God and His teachings. And when you start going to church, reading your scripture, and praying, you'll start to understand God's will for His children.
Seriously? That's your response to me? Go to church, pray, and read my scriptures. This conversation clearly isn't helping. I clearly can't talk to you about this because you've already made up your closed-off, narrow-minded, Happy Valley minds about it. And okay, I get it, and I see it for what it is, and I've learned a lot tonight. Dad wanted to fix our broken gay uncle along with all the other gay people in the world, and now that Dad's dead, and that's not an option anymore, the rest of my family either wants to convert them or ignore them. Got it!
Cassie, calm down. And just listen a minute.
Bieber, can I take your car for a drive?
I don't think that's a very good idea for you to be driving tonight.
Okay, fine, then I'll just walk.
Man, you are stubborn. Fine, drive the car. Drive to Las Vegas, see if I care.
Thanks so much.
Great, I think I've been attacked and insulted enough for one night.
Cassie, honey, we love you!
Okay.
The grid, a deliberate plan, calculated and confining. The mountains bear down, the routes restrict. The roads are narrow, the path is predetermined. If you long to leave, you must search for an exit to escape.
Cassie, hi, sweetie.
Thanks for letting me come here tonight.
Of course. Is everything okay?
Yeah. No. I don't know.
Here, honey, sit down. Cassie, is everything okay?
I don't even know, really. It's almost embarrassing to say out loud to you.
What?
I don't even know what's really happening. My entire family is ridiculous. I can't stay with them. I can't even talk to them.
Cassie,
What
honey.
is that?
In the glass, it's scotch. Have you drank whiskey before?
No.
Have you had any alcohol before? Beer, wine, anything?
No.
Well, that must have been quite an adventure for you then.
Yep. Holy crap! Somehow I thought the second one would be easier.
But it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. How do people drink that stuff?
They sip it. Slowly. Or they dilute it with... Why am I teaching you how to drink scotch? Cassie, honey, what is going on?
Oh my heavens. That feels amazing.
Yes, I know.
So stupid. McKay wrote this article, this blog post on this ultra-Mormon mom blog about defending traditional marriage and families, and I read it. And I asked her about it, and she defended it. So I yelled at her about it, and then my entire family walked in, and I yelled at all of them about it, and they told me I was wrong, and that I just need to go to church, pray, and read my scriptures.
Huh?
This thing she wrote is so disgusting.
Yes, I know. I read it a few weeks ago.
You read it? You knew about it?
Yes, I did.
Then why didn't you say anything the other day when we were talking to McKay?
Well, why would I?
Because it's a ridiculous, pious piece of work that's a direct affront to you and your life.
Yes, you're right. It is all those things.
I mean, I knew that kind of junk was out there in the Mormon community and whatnot. I didn't know that my sister, your niece, was actually out there writing it and spreading it. That doesn't bug you?
Well, it's not ideal, of course. I don't love it. And you're right, it's disgusting.
Thank you, I am right.
That's it, though? That's why you're so upset?
No, I mean, yes, I feel like that is enough to be repulsed and upset about, but no. When we were arguing after I confronted her, Dad came up. I guess she's been going through some of his old writings, his journals, and she came across these lectures and these awful studies about fixing gay people and turning them straight at BYU. Did you know about this?
Well, yes. I mean, I didn't read everything he wrote and lectured about it. I didn't follow him that closely, but yes, he talked to me about it a time or two, and he wanted me to read the things that they were finding and teaching.
And did you?
No, I didn't. Well, not all of it, anyway.
Did you know that he was a part of that committee on that study? The one that crazy guy did at BYU?
Yes. Yes, I did know that. And I believe that crazy guy has been a practicing Utah psychologist for decades.
Seriously? Of course you know all this. How does everybody know this but me? How could my dad have been a part of something so sickening?
Cassie, you're right. It was awful. It really was, and I'm not excusing it. That type of approach caused the people involved a lot of pain. And when I found out what they were doing, well, I was disgusted by it, just like you are now. But they didn't know what to do about us. Sometimes, hell, we didn't know what to do about us. They were doing what they thought would work. Or at least what they thought would be helping.
That is exactly what my mom said. How can you defend this? Defend hooking people up to electricity and jolting them to try to stop them from being gay?
Honey, I'm not defending it. I'm just trying to explain the context.
I just had this fight with my sister and my mother. I did not expect to have it again here with you of all people.
Cassie, you're right. It was fucking disgusting. But you don't know everything about this. You're not an expert on this topic. I knew I was attracted to men by the time I hit puberty. I hid it. I fought with every fiber of my being not to be who I was. Not surprisingly, since I was told having my natural feelings were the sin second only to murder. I was sure that I was evil and broken. Anyway, after graduating high school and losing the structure of the school and the impending mission drove me into a deep depression. I was concerned that I would one day cause harm to myself. And your father had just returned home from his mission, and I just thought the world of him. He was basically perfect, of course. So I decided to tell him, to reach out to him for help. And he listened to me with the most sincere and open and loving heart and attitude that he could. And with the utmost love and compassion, he urged me to go on a mission, believing that if I put all my faith in God, that he would relieve me from this trial. And that's exactly what we were taught. My spirit was revitalized by his optimism and faith. And I believed that with God that there was a fix, that there was hope for me. So I went. And I prayed constantly. And I buried myself in scriptures and manuals and books and conquering Italian. I worked extremely hard. And I followed every rule to the exact letter. But as you can probably guess, didn't work, right? It was a painful 2 years. Living, sleeping beside, and working all day with my male companions. One of them in particular was incredibly sexy. He probably still is. Anyway, about a year later, I began to feel depressed again. Very resentful to the church, my family, and everyone in Italy. And your father started to write me letters of support, encouragement. It just made it worse. He would write about how much he believed in me, and that he was sure that I would be a successful missionary and bring hundreds of new members to the church. I started dreading these letters because he knew who I was, what I was, and I hated him. I hated him for knowing. I hated him for encouraging me to go on a mission. And I hated him for not telling me to just stay home and be happy and come out and start dating men. And I hated myself for telling him and giving him that power over me. Then one day, another letter from your father arrived. And the first half was the same old rhetoric that I was used to. But the second half, it struck me. It stayed with me. It changed me. You know, I think I still have it. Wait, give me a second.
Okay. Yeah.
One of the positive things that I I believe the church still does this. Still its members a sense of importance to journaling and documenting their personal histories. To this day, I appreciate that. It should be in here. January, February. Yep, here it is. Oh. Here we go.
My dad wrote this?
Yeah, and most of these others too, but here, look here. Read this.
His handwriting didn't change at all. I swear it even smells like him. Is that weird?
Incredibly. Although I think you may be right, actually.
This part?
Yes.
You know how proud I am of you, and how much I believe you will change the world and the lives of the Italian people. But you may not know this. You may not know how much I love you, unconditionally. I am your brother, and I love you no matter what happens, no matter what you do, what you think, what you feel, what you believe. And most importantly, I hope for your happiness. Being truly happy with yourself and your life is the most heavenly, peaceful feeling one can feel in this lifetime. And it is what I wish for you. It's what I know you are able to find and obtain because you are a wonderful and smart and Christ-like man. Be happy, my brother. First and foremost, be happy.
Sounds exactly like him.
Yeah, I believe he just started dating your mother when he wrote that. I have a feeling a lot of that sentiment came from her. He was so incredibly happy. And she was so good for him and to him. He was a genuinely kind and loving person. And he wanted everyone around him to be happy as well. I think she brought those qualities out in him even more.
That was my dad. And yeah, that's my mom.
So I took his advice and I figured out how to be happy. I began to look at my experience on my mission in a different light. I began to worry less about how much I studied and how many people I brought to the church, but rather started to focus on the wonderful and warm people I grew to love and appreciate in Italy. I became less fearful of falling in love with my mission companions. I grew to appreciate them for who they were and what they had to offer and teach me. Came out to myself on the mission. And when I came back home and went back to college at the U, I slowly began to find people and friends who were like me, or at least understood me. Eventually, in time, I came out to our parents. And at that time, it was almost unheard of. And there was still a lot of hurt, incredible pain for everyone. Although your dad already knew, he clearly thought I was strong enough to beat it. There was no reconciling the church's beliefs. Their beliefs with who I was. What I was. He was hurt by my choice to leave. by my choice to, in his eyes, give up. But I knew being me, being honest, being a gay man was my path to happiness. Difficult and painful path to happiness. Your grandpa never spoke about it. Ever. Never used the word gay or boyfriend. But still I was a member of the family. And at least I was happy for that. I was still me. And I was happy. And now, I'm legally married to the love of my life.
But he never really accepted you. He never stopped trying to change who you were.
You're right. He didn't know how. He didn't know how to accept that his path to happiness was different than mine. He saw that I was less sad, less depressed, more confident, more successful in life. But he never understood that I could be both gay and truly, honestly experience joy. He wanted so badly for me to be able to experience joy in the way that he understood. And with his profession and his knowledge, it allowed him an avenue to search and to study and to experiment on how to make his path to happiness fit me. And yes, it was frustrating and insulting. But I always knew he still loved me. There was never a doubt. And even though he didn't understand me, I could forgive him for his shortcomings. Because he was a man. He was a good man who believed in God and loved him and loved his family and he loved his brother and truly, honestly wanted us to be happy.
I'm not sure if I know anymore what really makes me happy. Thought I did, but everything's changed so much, you know? Since Dad died, since I moved to Chicago, since I've been home this last week. But going to church, being a part of the church used to make me feel so energized, and it gave me a sense of purpose and joy. Lately, especially this last week, it has just been frustrating and draining and painful. I don't mean to compare your experience.
No, listen, I understand what you mean. And it's okay not to know how to be happy right now. I mean, happiness doesn't happen overnight, and it may not be what we expect. It definitely won't be what other people expect.
Thanks for this.
Of course. Can't keep that letter, though.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll let you scan it, along with all the rest of these if you like.
Scanning dozens of letters my dead father wrote? A Mormon girl's dream, I'll take it.
And dead grandparents. There's lots of those in there, too. Even better, right?
Totally. Seriously, though. Thank you.
You are welcome. You smell like scotch.
Gross.
You gonna be driving home tonight?
Can I sleep here?
Of course you can. In fact, I highly recommend it, seeing how late it is and the fact that you may be slightly buzzed. You'll call or text your family, though.
I will. I'm not 16. I don't want them worrying.
Good. Unfortunately, sweetie, I've got to get up to go to work in the morning. Can I get you some water?
Oh, no. I'll get it.
Good. Well,
These blankets are totally fine.
well, there's pillows, blankets. I got some toothbrushes in the cabinet. Okay?
Thanks. Thanks so much.
Of course. Seriously though, brush your teeth.
I will. Do you mind if I keep these out so I can keep reading them?
Of course you can. Read away. Good night, dear niece.
Good night, wise uncle.
Dear Elder Warren, I hope you are settling into and finding your true calling as a missionary. The people of Italy are very lucky to have you to teach them the truth of the gospel. God knew what he was doing when he chose you, my brother. He chose you at this moment, in this place, for this mission for a very specific reason. And it is your duty to discover and determine this purpose, to fulfill your calling from God. And when you do, my brother, I testify God in turn will fulfill you with true joy. When you become who you were always meant to be, you will find true happiness. I know you will find it. You are in the right place. You are at the right time, and you are doing the right thing. Be diligent. Be strong. Be happy. Always. Your brother, Darren Warren.
Damn it, Dad. How are you always right?